scrolling through Instagram and you see that a famous celebrity has committed suicide. You're kind of upset about it, mostly confused. You're wondering, how could they have done this? They have so much money and so many friends. It just doesn't make sense as to why. You look up more information about their death and see that their family has opened up about their depression issues and past experiences that you would have never guessed happened to them. This leads you to think, how many other people around you can be considering this as an option and you'd have no idea? Many people need to learn about suicide in our society, the signs of suicide, and suicide options and treatment plans. According to the National Alliance on Mental Illness, suicide is the second leading cause of death for people ages 10 to 34 and the fourth leading cause of death for people ages 35 to 54. Suicide can be caused by many things. Take mental illness for one. When a person has an untreated mental illness, this puts them at a default from the start. This causes the person to lack the proper care and management they need to function. It is estimated that approximately 90% of suicides can be attributed to mental illness that wasn't treated. Some examples of mental illnesses can include things such as bipolar disorder, eating disorders, borderline personality disorder, and many more. Another cause could be traumatic experiences. There's no right or wrong definition of a traumatic experience. Everyone processes things differently. According to a Very Well Mind article written by Nancy Skymelfaning, in a survey of nearly 6,000 U.S. adults, nearly 22% of people who have been raped had attempted suicide at some point, while 23% of people who had experienced past physical assault had attempted at some point in their life. Traumatic experiences can also cause PTSD, which can lead to suicidal thoughts or attempts. Those who suffer from PTSD are often more at risk for these thoughts or attempts. Also, people who have suffered from physical trauma, such as a car accident or being hurt at the job, are often at risk. They have been exposed to recurring thoughts of self-harm for being left alone for long periods of time. Substance abuse is also a main cause of suicide in our society. This is the use or overuse of a substance such as pills, alcohol, or other illegal substances that can be harmful to the body. While under the influence, you're more likely to act on impulsive thoughts. Especially if a person is suicidal, they're more likely to act on thoughts of suicide or forms of self-harm. Many people can become suicidal due to loss or fear of loss. This can include losing a family member or a friend, or thoughts of academic failure, imprisonment, or financial issues. You'd also be surprised to find out that many causes of suicide can stem from the carelessness of healthcare practitioners. Most people who had committed had seen a doctor within weeks of their death. For example, NIMH-funded research program known as Zero Suicide showed that one place to focus resources on was the training of healthcare practitioners in a clinical setting. We learned from this research that the majority of those who will die from suicide had been seen by a healthcare practitioner within 3 months of their events. The majority of individuals who die by suicide have accessed healthcare services a year prior to their death, and half made a medical visit within 4 weeks. One more cause of suicide is cyberbullying. As times progress, technology has only gotten more advanced. Not everyone knows how impactful their words can be. A majority of teen suicides are related to cyberbullying. According to the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, 34% of reported suicides had been cyberbullying related. Now that you know more about suicide in society, it's time to learn about the signs that someone is showing depression or suicidal thoughts. It's important to pay attention to people, especially the ones that you would least expect. It's important to pay attention to the sign that someone is considering suicide or suicidal thoughts. Some of these signs could include someone talking about killing themselves, someone talking about feeling hopeless or that their life has no purpose, increased use of substance, and the increase of self-isolation. According to the National Alliance of Mental Illness, at least half of those who die from suicide have been diagnosed with mental illness, while 90% of others have shown symptoms. Those 90% could be lowered tremendously if we get them the treatment they deserve. before it's too late. There are many treatment options to help people pull them from the darkness that they're in. One example is therapy to discuss your mental illness or past trauma. There are also medicines made to decrease thoughts of self-harm or suicide. Doctors also need to make sure that they're constantly checking on their patients to make sure they're not having an increase in suicidal thoughts. Most importantly, you need to make sure to give constant reassurance to those in need. Everyone needs a pick-me-up every now and then, some more than others. Constantly check on people. Constantly tell people how important they are to you and how you're always there for them. You need to make sure that you're always there when they need it most. This helps people whenever they're feeling alone. Lastly, I want to give a quote from Shirley Kaminsky, a suicide survivor. Healing is not about moving on or simply getting over it. It's about learning to make peace with our pain and finding a purpose in our lives again. I included this quote as a boost of encouragement to remind others that you don't need to bury down your emotions or try to put them in the past. There's actually no such thing as getting over trauma. It's just learning how to climb the hill that you've been trying to reach. It's about finding new meaning to your life, making it more meaningful to you. Do what you want with this information, but hopefully you use it to make a difference. Everyone needs someone. With the increase of suicide in our society, we need to be the generation to make a change. Pay attention to the signs that someone is struggling. You can get them the help they need. You may even change their life. Everyone's life is worth living. Now it's up to you to prove it.